Imagine this: no matter what chaos or stress comes your way, whether it's the rush of daily tasks, a disagreement with someone close, or an unexpected life twist, you can find a calm, unshakable center within yourself. Picture having a space inside you that remains steady and clear, like the eye of a storm, untouched by the noise around it. How would it feel to respond to life's challenges not with frustration, anger, or stress, but with calm, clarity, and compassion? What if, instead of being swept away by your emotions, you could choose how to respond with wisdom and balance, grounded in inner peace? Today, we're going to explore a powerful path toward that kind of peace, a way to master our emotions using timeless wisdom from Buddhism. This journey isn't about escaping life or shutting down your feelings. Instead, it's about discovering how to face each moment with resilience, understanding, and purpose. Through this video, we'll explore 13 principles that go beyond mere theory. They're practical tools, grounded in the everyday realities we all face. Imagine having a toolkit for life, techniques for finding calm in the midst of stress, guidance for letting go of what you can't control, and practices that help you connect with others from a place of compassion and kindness. These teachings are here to help you turn life's challenges into opportunities for growth and understanding. So if you're ready to stop letting emotions drive you and start living with true peace, stay with me. Let's dive in together, step by step, and discover a life that's not only more resilient but deeply fulfilling. The journey starts here. Principle 1: the foundation of mindfulness. Imagine being fully present in each moment, aware of every sensation, sound, and thought without letting them control you. This is the essence of mindfulness, a practice that invites us to tune into the here and now rather than getting lost in the regrets of the past or anxieties about the future. Mindfulness is more than just a concept, it's a way of life that allows us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. When we practice mindfulness, we create a space between what's happening around us and our immediate response to it. Instead of reacting out of habit or frustration, we can pause, observe, and choose our response with intention and clarity. This subtle shift can make all the difference, transforming our interactions, relationships, and even our experience of everyday tasks. Why is mindfulness so essential? In a world where everything moves quickly and our minds are often racing to keep up, we tend to overlook the present moment. But when we live in the now, we reduce stress and anxiety by focusing on what's real rather than worrying about what hasn't happened yet or what we can't change from the past. This practice helps us see situations clearly, without the cloud of assumptions or judgments that often color our perceptions. When I first started practicing mindfulness, I noticed a significant difference in how I responded to people and situations around me. In relationships, especially, I found that I was less likely to jump to conclusions or react defensively. Instead, I could pause, breathe, and approach each conversation with more openness and understanding. This didn't happen overnight, of course, but with time, I saw how this shift improved my connections with others and brought a greater sense of peace into my daily life. Think about a situation at work where someone criticizes your performance. Our initial reaction might be to defend ourselves, explain, or even get upset. But with mindfulness, you're able to take a moment to really hear the feedback without feeling attacked. You might find yourself responding with curiosity, asking questions, or genuinely listening to understand the other person's perspective. This doesn't just help you manage the situation better, it also opens the door to personal growth and builds respect with those around you. In essence, mindfulness invites us to experience life with greater awareness and intentionality. By focusing on the present, we discover a clarity that helps us see things as they are, rather than as we fear or wish them to be. And through that clarity, we begin to build a foundation of calm, resilience, and authentic presence. As we continue on this journey, let's keep in mind that mindfulness is the cornerstone of everything we're about to explore. It's the practice that grounds us, allowing us to cultivate each of the principles that follow. Let's take this first step together, embracing the present moment, and opening ourselves to a life of deeper understanding and peace. Principle 2: Embracing change as a path to growth. Let's imagine a moment when life throws something unexpected your way, a change you didn't ask for and maybe didn't want. It could be a career shift, a relationship ending, or simply the natural transitions that come with time. In those moments, our first instinct is often to resist. We want things to stay familiar, comfortable. But as Buddhism teaches, change is not only inevitable, but it's also a powerful source of growth, if we learn how to embrace it. Change can be uncomfortable, even painful. It asks us to let go of what we know and step into the unknown. And yet, it's through change that we grow, adapt, and become the best versions of ourselves. Resisting change often leads to frustration, anxiety, and a deep-seated fear of the future. But when we learn to welcome it, change becomes a pathway to resilience, teaching us to live with curiosity, flexibility, and hope. In my own life, learning to embrace change wasn't easy, but it was transformative. There was a time when I faced an unexpected career shift that felt overwhelming and out of my control. At first, I struggled, feeling lost and unsure of my next steps. But gradually, as I began to accept the situation, I started to see new possibilities. I realized that this change wasn't here to hinder me, it was here to guide me toward a new chapter one hadn't considered before. Embracing change helped me find strength within myself that I hadn't tapped into before, and it turned a time of uncertainty into a chance for reinvention. Consider the story of someone who loses their job unexpectedly. Initially, they might feel fear and uncertainty, questioning what comes next. But by embracing the change, they may discover hidden passions, skills, or a new path they'd never explored. Instead of viewing the job loss as a setback, they see it as an opportunity for reinvention. Perhaps they use this time to pursue a dream they'd put on hold, learn new skills, or even start a business. What once seemed like an unwelcome change becomes a doorway to a life that aligns more deeply with their true self. In welcoming change, we learn that life is not a rigid journey but a constantly shifting landscape. Each change, whether big or small, invites us to grow, adapt, and expand beyond our comfort zones. We come to understand that life itself is a series of changes, and by resisting them, we miss out on countless opportunities for personal transformation. So, the next time you're faced with a change, instead of resisting, try leaning into it. Trust that there is something valuable on the other side. Remember, it's in those moments of uncertainty that we find our greatest potential, our most authentic selves. Embracing change means opening ourselves to the endless possibilities that life has to offer and seeing each shift as a stepping stone to becoming the person we are meant to be. Let's take this step together, embracing change as our path to growth, and discovering the strength and beauty that lie within each new chapter. Principle 3: Detachment from outcomes. Let's imagine this scenario: you're working hard toward a goal, investing time, energy, and emotion into it. Deep down, you're hoping for a specific outcome, something that will validate all your efforts. But what happens when things don't go the way you planned? When life takes an unexpected turn, we often feel disappointment, frustration, or even a sense of loss. This is where the Buddhist practice of detachment, or non-attachment, offers us a way to find peace, regardless of the outcomes. Non-attachment doesn't mean we stop caring or become indifferent. Instead, it's about releasing the grip of expectations and learning to find joy and fulfillment in the journey itself. It's the ability to invest wholeheartedly in something without depending on a specific result to feel complete. By practicing this, we open ourselves to a life of greater peace and flexibility, unburdened by the anxiety that comes from clinging to a desired outcome. In my own life, I've found that practicing non-attachment, especially in relationships, has been incredibly freeing. There was a time when I felt the constant need to hold tightly to people, fearing that if I didn't, I might lose them. But over time, I realized that this attachment was actually creating tension and preventing me from fully enjoying the relationships. By practicing non-attachment, I began to appreciate the people in my life for who they were, rather than needing them to fulfill certain expectations. This shift allowed me to connect more deeply without the constant worry of loss. think of a person going through a breakup. In many cases, we attach so much of our happiness and identity to a relationship that its end feels devastating. But by embracing non-attachment, we can see the relationship for what it was, a beautiful chapter in our lives, filled with growth, lessons, and memories. Non-attachment doesn't mean we ignore the pain of loss, it means we understand that our happiness doesn't solely depend on any single person or situation. In this way, we find strength within ourselves, learning to appreciate what we had without clinging to it as our only source of fulfillment. Practicing detachment allows us to flow more easily with life's ups and downs. When we release our need for things to go a certain way, we become open to new opportunities and experiences that we might have missed if we were too focused on a specific outcome. Non-attachment gives us the freedom to engage fully with life, knowing that our worth and joy come from within rather than from the things or people we might otherwise cling to. So, let's try to embrace this practice of detachment. Let's invest in our goals, our relationships, and our dreams with all our heart, but let's also remember that true peace doesn't depend on things unfolding exactly as we envision. It comes from within, a place that remains steady and content, no matter the outcome. In this way, non-attachment becomes not only a practice of letting go but a pathway to a deeper, more resilient sense of happiness. Principle 4. Developing emotional awareness through self-reflection. Imagine understanding your emotions so well that you're no longer at their mercy. This is the gift of self-awareness in Buddhism, a practice of observing our emotions without judgment, learning what triggers us, and using that knowledge to shape our responses. When we know our emotional patterns, we gain the power to control our reactions. Self-reflection is essential for this. For me, journaling became a tool to uncover emotional patterns, like noticing certain situations that sparked my anger. By reflecting on these triggers, I learned to approach similar situations with calm, understanding them rather than reacting impulsively. Consider someone who realizes that traffic makes them impatient. Instead of getting frustrated each time, they might reframe it as an opportunity to practice patience. This shift, made possible through self-awareness, turns a stressful moment into a chance for growth. Emotional awareness transforms our relationship with our feelings, allowing us to respond rather than react. Through this practice, we come to know ourselves deeply, and life's challenges become pathways to peace and inner strength. By checking in with ourselves, asking, "What am I feeling, and why?" we open the door to a more balanced, intentional life. Principle 5. Practicing gratitude as a path to contentment. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of calm and contentment, focusing not on what's missing, but on what you already have. This is the power of gratitude, a practice that refocuses the mind on life's abundance rather than its gaps. Gratitude invites us to look around and recognize the beauty and blessings present in each moment, helping us find peace and joy in the here and now. Gratitude is more than simply saying thank you. It's a mindset shift that directs our attention toward what's going right in our lives, rather than fixating on what's going wrong. By practicing gratitude, we naturally reduce stress and anxiety because our minds are no longer consumed by scarcity or what we lack. Instead, we become more aware of life's gifts, both big and small, and this awareness nurtures a deep sense of contentment. For me, starting a gratitude journal was a simple yet transformative practice. Each day, I would write down a few things I was thankful for: a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a friendly smile from a stranger, or a meaningful conversation with a friend. Over time, I noticed how this habit shifted my perspective. Moments that once seemed ordinary or insignificant became sources of joy and fulfillment, and I felt less bothered by daily frustrations. Take, for example, someone who begins to appreciate the small, everyday moments in life. Instead of rushing through the morning, they might pause to savor their coffee, feeling grateful for its warmth. Or, instead of feeling annoyed by a busy day, they find gratitude in the brief but meaningful conversations they share with others. This shift doesn't change the external circumstances, but it transforms how they experience them. Practicing gratitude helps us see that contentment isn't something we find by constantly seeking more, it's something we cultivate by appreciating what's already here. By making gratitude a daily habit, we can embrace life with a fuller heart, finding peace not in what's to come, but in what's already within our grasp. In this way, gratitude becomes a pathway to a life that feels richer, simpler, and infinitely more satisfying. So let's try it. Start each day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. Watch as this small act brings greater calm and contentment, shifting your focus to the abundance around you. In gratitude, we find that we already have everything we need to be at peace. Principle 6, the power of deep breathing for calm and clarity. Imagine having a simple tool you can use anytime, anywhere, to calm your mind and steady your emotions. This tool is something you carry with you every moment of your life, your breath. Deep breathing is one of the most accessible and effective ways to manage stress and stay grounded, no matter what life throws your way. Deep breathing may seem simple, but it has a profound effect on our mind and body. When we take slow, intentional breaths, it signals to our body that it's safe to relax, activating the body's natural relaxation response. This slows the heart rate, lowers blood pressure, and eases the tension we often hold without realizing it. In moments of anxiety or overwhelm, focusing on our breath allows us to return to a place of calm and clarity. I've found deep breathing incredibly helpful, especially when I feel overwhelmed. Taking just a few deep breaths helps me reconnect to the present moment, regaining focus and perspective. It's a way to hit the reset button when emotions start to take over. By simply focusing on my breath, I create a little space between myself and the stress, allowing me to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. One powerful technique I often use is the 4-7-8 breathing method. It's simple: inhale for a count of 4, hold the breath for a count of 7, and exhale slowly for a count of 8. This method is especially helpful before high-stress situations, like a big presentation or an important conversation. By focusing on this breathing rhythm, I find that my mind naturally quiets, my nerves settle, and I feel more in control. Imagine someone preparing for a public speech. Instead of letting nervous thoughts spiral, they pause and take a few rounds of 4-7-8 breathing. With each exhale, they release some of the tension, grounding themselves in the present. By the time they begin speaking, they're not only calmer but also clearer and more focused, ready to approach the moment with confidence. Breathwork reminds us that we don't need to control every situation, we only need to control our response to it. Deep breathing brings us back to our center, offering a sense of calm that's independent of what's happening around us. In the stillness of each breath, we find clarity, resilience, and peace. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed, try taking a few deep breaths. Use the 4-7-8 method or simply inhale deeply and exhale slowly. Feel how the act of breathing anchors you in the present, calming your mind and bringing you back to yourself. In those moments, you'll find that peace is always just a breath away. Principle 7, simplicity in life for mental peace. In our busy, fast-paced world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. We're constantly surrounded by things, possessions, notifications, commitments, that can clutter not just our homes but our minds. Imagine, though, what it would feel like to have a simpler life, one where only the things that truly matter take up space. Simplicity isn't just about having fewer possessions, it's about clearing away distractions so that we can find mental clarity and inner peace. Simplicity is a deliberate choice to focus on what brings us joy and purpose while letting go of what doesn't serve us. By decluttering both our physical environment and our mental space, we make room for more meaningful experiences, creating a life that feels lighter and more intentional. Reducing the noise in our lives allows us to connect more deeply with ourselves and those around us, fostering a sense of calm and satisfaction. For me, simplifying my schedule was a game changer. I used to feel overwhelmed by a packed calendar, always moving from one task to the next. But when I started letting go of unnecessary commitments, I found time for things that genuinely enriched my life, spending time with loved ones, reading, or simply enjoying a quiet moment. With fewer obligations, I felt less rushed and more present, savoring each moment rather than rushing through it. Take, for example, someone who decides to reduce their social media use. In our connected world, it's easy to spend hours scrolling, consuming endless information and comparing ourselves to others. By cutting down on screen time, this person gains more mental space and focus. Instead of being caught up in the constant stream of online content, they find joy in offline activities, reading, walking in nature, or having genuine conversations. This shift from online to offline brings a sense of fulfillment that can be hard to find in the digital world. Simplicity also means being mindful of our thoughts. Just as we clear away physical clutter, we can choose to let go of worries and anxieties that don't serve us. Instead of constantly overthinking or stressing about things beyond our control, we can focus on what we can enjoy and improve in the present. In embracing simplicity, we give ourselves permission to live more freely, without the weight of unnecessary things. It's a practice of choosing quality over quantity, presence over distraction. By doing so, we allow our lives to slow down and our minds to quiet, creating a space where peace can flourish. So, consider simplifying one area of your life. It might be your schedule, your home, or your online habits. Notice how this small change brings greater clarity and joy, helping you focus on what truly matters. Through simplicity, we learn that peace isn't found in more, it's found in less. In the beauty of a life lived with intention and mindfulness. Principle 8, the practice of nonviolence, Ahimsa, in thoughts and actions. Imagine approaching every interaction with kindness and respect, choosing words that heal rather than hurt. This is Ahimsa, or nonviolence, not only avoiding physical harm but also refraining from causing emotional or verbal harm. Ahimsa is a guiding principle in Buddhism that teaches us the power of mindful, compassionate communication, creating relationships built on trust and understanding. Nonviolence doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations. Instead, it's about expressing ourselves thoughtfully, with respect for both our feelings and the other person's dignity. In my own life, I noticed that choosing my words carefully in family discussions helped resolve conflicts calmly. Rather than reacting out of frustration, I found that expressing my needs without criticism created a safe space for open, honest conversation. Imagine someone in a tense discussion who, instead of accusing or blaming, pauses and says, "I feel unheard, and it's important to me that we both understand each other." This approach diffuses tension, respects both sides, and fosters genuine understanding. Practicing Ahimsa is about nurturing a peaceful heart, free from resentment or anger. When we choose nonviolence, we cultivate a calm inner strength that allows us to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Through each kind word and mindful action, we bring more harmony into our lives and inspire others to do the same. Let's make a commitment to pause, breathe, and choose kindness, especially in moments of tension. Through nonviolence in thoughts and actions, we can build a life of deeper connections and a world rooted in compassion. Principle 9, positive thinking to reframe challenges. Imagine facing a setback, a disappointment, or even a failure, and instead of feeling defeated, you see it as a stepping stone, an opportunity for growth. This is the power of positive thinking. It's not about ignoring life's difficulties, it's about choosing to view them through a lens of possibility, seeing each challenge as a chance to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Positivity, when approached mindfully, helps us build resilience. It doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect or denying our struggles. Rather, it's about acknowledging difficulties while choosing to focus on what we can gain from them. When we develop a positive mindset, we train ourselves to look beyond the immediate frustration or pain and recognize the hidden opportunities within each experience. Personally, I found that shifting to a growth mindset had a profound effect on how I handled setbacks. I began to see challenges as part of the learning process, allowing me to approach them with curiosity rather than fear. When I viewed these experiences as lessons, I realized that even moments of failure offered something valuable. This perspective brought a sense of peace and confidence, knowing that every step, no matter how difficult, was contributing to my growth. Imagine someone who faces a job rejection. At first, it's natural to feel discouraged. But by reframing the situation, they might start to see this rejection as a push toward new skills, perhaps exploring a different career path or developing qualities they hadn't focused on before. Instead of feeling stuck, they find purpose in the setback, viewing it as a catalyst for personal development. Positive thinking is not just an outlook, it's a tool that empowers us to navigate life's ups and downs with optimism. It helps us meet challenges with a sense of purpose, transforming obstacles into opportunities to grow. When we approach life with this mindset, we build a resilience that doesn't waver, even when things get tough. Let's try to embrace this way of thinking. The next time we face a setback, let's ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? By choosing to reframe challenges as opportunities, we give ourselves the freedom to grow, adapt, and ultimately, to thrive. In every difficulty, there's a lesson waiting to be discovered, and through positivity, we unlock the strength to find it. Principle 10. Trusting the process and letting life unfold. Imagine facing life without needing to control every outcome, simply trusting that things will unfold as they're meant to. Trusting the process means accepting that life's twists may not match our expectations, yet welcoming them with patience. Often, we're wired to plan and predict, but life's surprises teach us that true peace comes from letting go. Personally, embracing this has taught me patience and faith. When unexpected changes came my way, I learned to focus not on the outcome, but on what I could gain from the experience. Consider someone facing an unplanned career shift. Instead of resisting, they see it as a chance to grow and learn, trusting that this detour has its own purpose. By focusing on personal growth over control, they find peace in the journey. Trusting the process is about releasing rigid expectations and embracing each experience as it comes. Let's lean into life's flow, knowing that every unexpected moment contributes meaningfully to our path. Principle 11. Pausing to reflect before reacting. Imagine being in the middle of a heated conversation, feeling emotions rise, but instead of reacting instantly, you take a deep breath and pause. This simple act of pausing to reflect creates a space between what's happening and how we choose to respond. It's a moment of clarity that allows us to choose a thoughtful response rather than an impulsive reaction. This practice, though simple, is incredibly powerful. In our fast-paced lives, we often respond to situations out of habit or immediate emotion, which can lead to misunderstandings, arguments, or regret. By learning to pause, we give ourselves a chance to think, to let the intensity of the moment settle, and to respond with calm and intention. In my own experience, practicing the pause and reflect method has been transformative, especially in stressful family discussions. There were times when I felt tempted to jump into the conversation with my own perspective, but by pausing, I could listen more openly and respond in a way that kept the peace. This practice didn't just reduce conflict, it improved my relationships and made me more aware of my own emotions. Consider a person who receives unexpected criticism at work. The instinct might be to defend themselves or react defensively, but by taking a moment to pause, they can respond with a clearer mind. Instead of reacting out of pride or frustration, they might respond with curiosity, asking for specific feedback and using the criticism as an opportunity to improve. This choice to pause transforms a potentially tense situation into a constructive one. Pausing before reacting helps us build stronger, more respectful connections. It allows us to see situations objectively and respond with intention, creating a ripple effect of calm and understanding. So next time you feel a surge of emotion, try to pause, breathe, and reflect. In that moment, you'll find the power to shape your response, and perhaps even the outcome, with clarity and wisdom. This simple practice is a gateway to greater patience, compassion, and resilience in every area of life. Principle 12. Mindful awareness in everyday actions. Imagine experiencing each moment fully, even the simplest ones, savoring the taste of your morning coffee, noticing the rhythm of your footsteps, or feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin. This is the power of mindful awareness, a practice that brings mindfulness into our daily routines, transforming ordinary actions into moments of peace and presence. Mindfulness doesn't require us to sit in silence for hours, it can be woven seamlessly into our everyday activities. When we approach these small tasks with mindfulness, we create a habit of being present. This practice helps us move through life with greater awareness and appreciation, rather than getting lost in thoughts or rushing through our routines. For me, mindful eating has been a deeply rewarding practice. Instead of hurrying through meals or thinking about the next task, I began to focus on the flavors, textures, and sensations of each bite. This simple change helped me enjoy meals more fully, and I found myself feeling more relaxed around food, savoring the experience rather than just going through the motions. Mindful eating became a way to slow down, grounding me in the present moment. Think of someone who takes a short mindful walk after a busy day. Instead of letting their mind race with unfinished tasks or future worries, they focus on the sensation of their feet touching the ground, the sound of the wind, or the movement of their breath. This mindful awareness brings them a sense of calm and renewal, helping them return to their responsibilities with a clearer, more focused mind. Incorporating mindful awareness into everyday actions is like planting seeds of presence throughout the day. These small moments of mindfulness help us reconnect with ourselves and appreciate the beauty of each moment. By focusing on our breath, our movements, or the sounds around us, we find a way to step back from stress and bring peace into even the busiest of days. So let's make an effort to bring mindfulness into our daily lives. Whether it's a mindful meal, a short walk, or simply a few deep breaths, these moments of awareness can transform how we experience each day. Through mindful awareness, we learn to live with greater appreciation and calm, discovering that even the smallest moments can bring us joy and peace. Principle 13, letting go of excessive desires and expectations. Imagine how liberating it would feel to no longer be weighed down by constant cravings, to live without the endless chase for more. Buddhism teaches that finding contentment means letting go of excessive desires and unrealistic expectations, shifting our focus from what we don't have to appreciating what's already here. By simplifying our desires, we open ourselves to a life of peace and gratitude, where fulfillment comes from within rather than from endless seeking. The pursuit of more, whether it's a better job, a bigger house, or the perfect relationship, can disrupt our inner peace. Constant craving keeps us feeling unsatisfied and drains our energy, making us feel like we're always falling short. By letting go of these unnecessary desires, we create space for gratitude and find joy in the simplicity of life. For me, simplifying my goals was transformative. I had once set ambitious targets for myself, thinking that only big achievements would bring satisfaction. But as I let go of these expectations, I began to appreciate smaller, everyday accomplishments. I found joy in the process itself rather than the end result. This shift allowed me to feel fulfilled and present, rather than always chasing the next big thing. Consider someone who has always dreamed of the perfect career. As they grow, they realize that chasing this ideal is creating stress and dissatisfaction. By letting go of the need for a perfect career, they open themselves to smaller, more meaningful goals that bring real satisfaction. Perhaps they find fulfillment in work that aligns with their values or in relationships they build with colleagues. Instead of striving for perfection, they find contentment in doing work that feels purposeful. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on dreams or ambitions, it means finding peace in the journey rather than tying happiness to specific outcomes. When we release our grip on excessive desires, we make room for gratitude, appreciating life as it is rather than as we think it should be. This approach helps us cultivate a deeper sense of fulfillment, discovering that true happiness isn't in what we achieve, but in how we experience each moment. So let's practice letting go of the need for more. When we feel the pull of excessive desires, let's gently remind ourselves to be present, to appreciate the simple joys, and to find contentment in what we have. By embracing this simplicity, we free ourselves from the weight of endless expectations and create a life that's richer, calmer, and more fulfilling. Through gratitude and acceptance, we find that peace has been within us all along. Closing reflection. As we come to the end of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on how each of these practices, mindfulness, detachment, gratitude, resilience, and more, support a life that feels balanced and deeply fulfilling. Together, these principles create a foundation that helps us navigate life's challenges with clarity and compassion, allowing us to respond to both joy and hardship from a place of inner peace. Each of these practices builds upon the others. Mindfulness keeps us present, aware of the richness of each moment, while detachment teaches us not to cling too tightly to outcomes, freeing us from unnecessary stress. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, nurturing a sense of contentment. Resilience, rooted in these practices, allows us to face setbacks with optimism and a sense of purpose, knowing that every experience holds a lesson. Life, with all its unpredictability, will continue to test us, but with these practices, we build a solid inner foundation. We gain the tools to face both the beauty and the difficulties of life with grace, finding peace and purpose in every moment. It's not about achieving perfection, it's about cultivating resilience, staying present, and finding fulfillment in the journey itself. I invite you to try one of these practices for just 1 week, perhaps a moment of gratitude each morning, a few minutes of mindful breathing, or pausing before reacting in a conversation. Notice how these small actions affect your day, your relationships, and most importantly, your sense of inner peace. Share your experiences and reflections, as these stories inspire and remind us that we're all walking this path together. Remember, the journey to emotional mastery is gradual. Every small step we take brings us closer to the peace and joy we seek. Life may still surprise us, but with these practices, we learn to greet each moment with calm and an open heart. Let's continue forward, embracing each step as a part of the beautiful journey toward a balanced, mindful, and truly fulfilling life. If you found these insights helpful and want to continue this journey towards a more peaceful, balanced life, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll stay connected to more inspiring content like this. And if this video resonated with you, please give it a like and share it with friends or family who might benefit from these teachings. Let's spread positivity and wisdom together. Your support truly helps grow our community. Thank you for watching.